All right, we're streaming live on YouTube now. Welcome to another installment of MSP webinars. Today is going to be a much different type of webinar because this one is going to be another one of those group participation deals where we're all going to play a game called role playing. We're all going to practice pitching to one another. And Shiva, have you finished your lunch? Are you ready? You're muted.
I'll wait till after, and then I'll go back to lunch.
Okay. So Shiva is a colleague of mine
And the client.
and a client. That's right. Shiva does a really great job selling. He's very confident in his sales process, and I think I'm gonna say this correctly. My first offer is my best offer is one of his favorite lines to say.
It is.
So Shiva, what's your close rate like?
Realistically, I'm probably between 40 to 50%, if that. In my mind, it's 99%, but we have to be realistic at some point.
I appreciate realistic.
It's a numbers game. You need to go to as many prospects as possible and stuff your pipeline, because you can't rely on going to 2 or 3 people a day or 2 or 3 people a week. Your close rate will be pretty poor. On average, we do about 60 calls a day, and drop-bys can be scheduled. Sometimes I will literally be driving down the road and see what I believe a potential client is, pull into their parking lot, go in, look around, and ask to speak to the person in charge or get their contact info. If they're not around, first thing I do when I get into the car, call them up, leave a voicemail, try to get something on the books with them.
Okay. So when you are dropping in, what is the kind of thing you're saying when you stop in?
Really depends on what you see there. If you can get a decent enough look at their technology or the state of their office, you can probably figure out how to align them with whatever your offering is, and you somewhat tailor an introduction based on that. One of the key things I do is I never ask and say, can I speak to the person in charge? It's more like, I'd like to set up an appointment to speak with the person in charge, or something along those lines. When you go in with that, framing it as though you will have that appointment, they tend to be more amenable, in my experience.
Excellent. So I just got this fantastic idea. I'm going to open up a Word document that we'll all be able to take notes in and share. I'll make this available after the webinar is done. So if you guys want to get logged in, I'll give you guys a link to that here shortly, as soon as I get it created. So when you're just doing a phone call, Shiva, like do you do much cold calling?
I used to. Now I have someone that does a lot of it for me.
Okay.
But usually 60, 75 calls a day is what you need to do. And the best list you can get is Yelp or Google Places. Throw in a zip code, look for the businesses around, and just start calling them. If you're familiar with your neighborhood, you'll know who to go after. But
And you said Yelp, or what's the other one?
Google Places, or just,
So you don't use one of those like database tools?
in this day and age, I think that's a dinosaur.
Okay.
If you really want to hit a concentrated place with businesses, we're based out of New Jersey. There are a tremendous number of office parks. Go in, type in the address online, see what businesses are listed in those office parks, and just start calling. Industrial complexes, same thing. My best clients have been industrial and manufacturing by far. They have a need for technology, but their users are not as needy as other is.
Gotcha. So I'm going to post this link here in the chat. And I see we've got some more attendees. I'm going to promote everyone to a panelist because, as I mentioned earlier, this is everyone gets to participate and play. Brian, are you raising your hand? Do you have a question?
No, there's a couple of us from the office listening, so I was turning up the volume so everyone else could hear it on the TV.
Excellent. Andy said move your mic up a little bit or speak up a little. Okay, I'm going to try that. Is this better, guys? Perfect. Okay. So here's what I want to do. We're going to play a little game. It's called Let's See If We Can Make Steve Look Like a Jackass. And here's how the game works. Shiva, I'm going to call you, and you're going to just be the guy, okay? I don't have to ask for the guy. I magically have the phone number. You're the guy, okay?
Okay.
So I'm gonna call you, and you're gonna probably just shoot me down because I'm terrible at this, okay? And then you're gonna tell me what I did wrong and what I should have done differently or better.
Okay.
All right. We ready?
Are we doing this on my office line or on here?
Just on here.
Okay.
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi there. Shiva, right?
Yes, sir.
Hi, this is Steve with Taylor IT Group. And here's where I freeze because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Ask someone how they're doing and wait for the answer. You'll get that awkward pause because no one expects you to wait for the answer.
So I ask, how are you doing?
Doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for asking.
What can I do for you today?
Well, I see that you guys use computers, because who doesn't, right? And I want to fix them for you.
What's wrong with our computers?
Everything.
Like what?
Everything is wrong with your computers. Well, first of all, you don't have me working on them, so you're at a big disadvantage already.
Okay, but what about my internal IT?
Oh, they're terrible.
Okay, I didn't get that in the last quarterly report, but can you tell me why?
Well, first of all, do you offer them training?
Isn't that what school's for?
Well, yeah, but I mean, things change with computers and stuff all the time. So I mean, are they still in school?
I hope not.
Well, then
40 hours a week.
Okay, so you've got guys that got trained years ago, but they're not really up to par with today's technology, is what it sounds like.
Potentially.
Okay, so are you guys using any of the newer servers or newer cloud technologies?
I just pay the bills. As long as it works, I have no idea what's going on behind there.
Fair. Well, since you just pay the bills, what if I were to come out and just have a meeting with you, no cost to you, and we can have a conversation with how your technology looks today and how my company can help make it better.
Do you have an agenda I can take a look at before booking a meeting?
No, sir, I never have an agenda. I'm not that kind of guy.
Then I don't think we can do business together.
Well, that's your loss.
I hear a lot of expletives and a click in your future.
So Jonathan said, this feels super confrontational, no?
I think you have to listen to when your prospect is speaking to you. If you don't give an agenda, say, sure, we can put something together for you. Why don't you give me your email address? That way we can send it over for your review. Now you have his direct contact. Because chances are you got to him through a switchboard, this, that, or what have you.
Oh, see, that's smart. I wouldn't have thought of that.
I think a lot of it is, it's really based on listening to them, giving them the opportunity to tell you what's wrong with their system. If you're calling me to tell me my systems aren't good or they don't work well, chances are I think you're selling snake oil.
That's because I am selling snake oil, Shiva.
But Sorry, go ahead.
No, please continue.
I think you can formulate your responses based on giving them the opportunity to speak. That's really what it boils down to. And it started in the beginning when I suggested you ask them how they're doing and wait for the answer.
Okay. So okay, let's turn this around. How about Shiva, you call me and I'll be the evil prospect, okay?
Okay. Hi, Steve. How are you doing today?
I'm good. What do you want?
I'd like to talk to you about your technology needs if you have any.
I mean, I don't really feel like I have any. I'm sitting here at a desk with 4 monitors and a really nice computer.
And does it work all the time?
Yeah,
Does it do exactly what you need it to do?
for the most part.
Tell me about the parts where it doesn't.
Well, I wish it were a Mac instead of a PC
Where do you get your Macs from? Or why don't you have a Mac?
because I don't have that kind of money just laying around, Shiva. I've got a budget that I have to adhere to for my technology spending.
And what is that budget?
That's none of your damn business, sir.
I was just curious because I'd like to make sure you're utilizing your resources in the best possible way.
Well, I don't see why I'm not. That's really what I'm saying, okay?
Perhaps we can schedule some time for me to go over it with you.
I'm a pretty busy person, so I probably don't have time for that.
Well, here's my phone number. If anything changes, please feel free to get in touch.
Okay.
Thank you.
Probably won't do that, but bye.
Take care.
Really? That's it?
Yeah.
I thought you were supposed to put me in a headlock and twist my arm or
I'm
something.
not going to beg you for your business. Take away clothes. Be prepared to walk away.
Well, I was prepared to walk away with my no agenda thing, and I still did it wrong.
There's no right.
The other thing I would say is if the guy seems slightly amenable to potentially talking but didn't want to, follow up 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later and say, hey, this is just, this is Shiva checking in again with you, just wondering how your infrastructure is going and everything's working out. Is this week a better time for you?
Interesting.
And then if he says no, then just, put him on the cold call list, but, set it a month out.
And if you use ConnectWise, you can track all of that.
Yes, you can.
I mean, you can do all of that with Autotask too, just saying.
I'm sorry, you broke up there. I didn't hear what you said.
Autotask.
Yeah, I still. Sorry.
Kaseya BMS.
Let me just clarify, auto task.
I see people's mouths moving, but nothing. I don't hear anything.
All right,
You
so
can create an automatic task inside of ConnectWise.
I heard that.
So all right, so let's mix it up a little. Andy,
Yes.
why don't you just hop into Shiva's store? He's got a business
I
that
recall the
sells.
last time I did this.
Shiva
Actually,
has a
somebody's
Shiva has a business. Shiva's store sells turtles
Ooh,
and turtle related products.
that would be Errol.
That would be more Errol's thing, but okay. So they sell turtle related things. So that means I'm thinking prior to me walking in there, what type of systems do they have? I need to prep myself before I walk in. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, these probably have some form of point of sale system. It could either be PC based, it could just be, physical desk, whatever, in which case it's all handled by the manufacturer. Mm-hmm. There is probably at least 1, maybe 2 or 3 back office computers. But you're talking about a pet store. so I mean, most pet stores, they're only like 1 computer. So let's
But what if Shiva's pet store just also happens to be a franchise?
I would say let's restructure this. Instead of saying a small pet store, let's say a pet supplies distribution center or a company. In which case they sell multiple pet supplies. They may have, say, 5 to 10 employees, because that's typically who you want to start. At least for the small end, that's who you want to start marketing to, I think. If you go smaller than that, because then you're starting to look at, okay, well, your sales process is looking very different from a 1 to 2 person little shop. versus a 5 to 10 person shop.
That's
At the 5 to 10 person shop level, you're looking at, okay, we have a business owner. The business owner may be the one probably taking care of all the computers. I'm trying to sell them on the idea that they should not have to take care of their computers. From a 1 to 2 person shop, you're looking at, okay, this person takes care of all their stuff, but why am I having to pay so much to get all this done? You could still sell them on security services, but you're not going to be selling them on your premium high margin stuff, so.
Okay. So Turtle Distribution Center.
So Turtle Distribution Center and Food Emporium, whatever. Okay, I walk into Shiva's shop. Shiva probably says, hey, hi, how can I help you? And I'd be like, let's see here.
What's your name?
Philip J. Fry.
Hello, Mr. Fry. What can I do for you today?
Well, sir, I'm not really in the market for turtles.
Okay. What are you in the market for?
Really interested in actually your technology needs around here.
To be quite honest, we don't have a lot, but what did you have in mind?
Well, I noticed your business has a lot of distribution. I noticed that they have a lot of, they send and export, and you guys have quite a few employees here. And quite frankly, I would like to sit down with you and see what sale. Oh, dang it! How would you word that? Because that's coming on too strong.
I used to have that problem all the time before.
Yeah, I mean, most of my clients are straight in front of you. There's already been some. They're usually by referrals. Although I'm gonna have to get better at the cold call stuff. Dang. Okay. Okay. So, well, sir, I would really like to speak with a person in charge or a person in management, if possible. I am interested in your computers and your operations around here.
Sure, I have some time now.
Okay, that'd be perfect. That'd be perfect. My goal is to really come about and just understand what your business processes are, and to understand where, if any, problems or issues you may have in your business line, and understand if there are any services that I can provide, how I can best suit your needs. So, I mean, currently, I mean, how do you like your computers? I mean, how do they operate for you? Is there any issues, errors?
They work pretty well. I just wish that my remote staff were better equipped to do their job.
Better equipped. When you mean better equipped, are you talking about the processes and procedures of your business, or are you talking more in line with your
Connectivity.
how they operate?
Connectivity to the office when they're on the road.
Okay. So that would be, we can definitely work with you on that. What are you currently using, if I don't mind asking?
We are using XYZ distribution software, and it's loaded onto various laptops, smartphones, or what have you.
Okay. Is this like a cloud-based system, or is it loaded directly onto one of the machines here in the house?
I have no idea. We spent a whole lot of money on it 2 years ago. Well, 15 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely love to come, and I mean, I can either do it now, or I can schedule a time next week where you're with me and we can go through and see what you have, how you have it. And
sit with my technology officer, and you both can work on it, and then you can get me a proposal.
Okay. Yeah, you got a technology officer. That's good. That would be wonderful. I could speak with him. That would give me the opportunity to understand what your needs are and what he perceives your needs are. I would like, if at some time, I mean, I know you trust your chief technology officer, so I would like him in this discussion. And that'd be great to go forward. When's a good time next week?
Monday.
Perfect. I'll see you on Monday.
Thank you.
So,
contact info?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I would assume that whatever. Exchange of contact info, but
Good.
But yeah, that honestly, I have not done that in a long time. And that sounds bad, but I mean,
Andy's just so good he doesn't need to.
My best
Well-
results have come from just
referrals.
drop-ins outside of the referral side, of course.
Yeah.
So Shiva, how did Andy do?
I think he did well. I mean, realistically, on a webinar, he has no context or point of reference from looking around the space to see what's going on. And I think that's what you need when you do a drop-in. If you're doing a cold call, it really doesn't matter. It's just letting them speak. But you need a frame of reference in person.
So, I mean, one of the frames of reference you can pick up on is, I mean, you may not deal anything with security cameras, but one of the things I've seen is, especially with places with security cameras, is either they'll have a basic system or they'll have a very large expansive system. And a lot of times the security teams, they'll put in place these machines and then they'll just leave them be. They'll never update them.
So one of the things that I work with a company, all they do is access control, security cameras, intercoms, this kind of stuff. They do stuff for the New York State, New York City, prison departments, all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They have actually been a very good referral source for my, I guess, my break fix consulting business.
Yeah, one of the things I've looked at with several of my clients is okay, do you need, especially some of the ones that have been referred to me, I've looked at, I try to give a whole security approach to things. So if they're doing retail business or if they have a warehouse, okay, do you guys need security cameras? Do you guys, when was the last time you guys looked at everything? That kind of thing. And a lot of times I've either referred or I brought in a security consultant to handle more stuff, meaning for the cameras and whatnot, while I handle the IT side of things. One of my biggest easy sells is the fact that, okay, well, you're using the hardware that the internet service provider gave you. Great, but that's not good. Well, why is that not good? Well, you have no way to know who's coming in or out of your network. What do you want to do any sort of web filtering? You want to make sure your employees stay on task because they're, that whole thing. Well, it's like, okay, well, we got antivirus on our computers. That's good. But do you also, what about the people downloading documents and other such things that are not antivirus related? How do you handle those? A lot of it's just a lot of it you can base this off of how your initial conversation goes and your pre kind of your scouting of the business is kind of how it sounds like.
I think also body language plays a huge role.
Yeah.
In person meetings and speech and intonation for the cold call.
Yep.
So
Practice.
all right. So let's see who else we have in here. I know Jonathan Bullock just said something. John, do you have? First of all, I hope you don't mind me calling you John. Second, do you have a mic and webcam, or at least a mic? Doesn't appear so.
And
Brian.
Jeopardy.
Yes.
You're going to be the next guinea pig, sir.
Oh no.
Jonathan does have a mic.
Oh good. Let him go.
Let him. Okay, you'll go next.
Okay.
Hi, Jonathan.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Yep. So what I'm thinking is let's have you and Andy. Andy just went. We'll have you and Andy do a little role playing now. So, Andy, you're going to be the evil prospect.
The evil prospect.
And Jonathan is the superhero IT guy, and his superpower is taking your money. Um,
Great. So exactly as for perceived then.
Andy, what kind of company do you own?
I'm let's go with the custom cabinetry.
Custom cabinetry.
One of my best clients is actually a custom cabinet maker.
Yep.
And I love that guy. Absolutely no technology understanding, but he's the kind of guy where he knows it's necessary to his business.
I have a client almost the exact same, and that's why I was like, okay, this will be an interesting one.
Yeah. So in fact, that client, I would say, is one that I have actually said to him multiple times that you don't need this level of technology. Like, he's the kind of guy that wants it, but has no understanding of what it does. And I've had to explain to him, no, you're just going to waste money buying that from me. I'm not going to sell it to you.
Yeah.
So, because like I was talking to him about CAD, for example, and I said, like, how much would you be out, like, design wise on a standard kitchen? And he's like, well, I just did like a 90 linear feet kitchen, all cabinets. And at the end, after 4 corners, he was out a 1/16 of an inch. And I was like, okay, you don't need CAD then. You're fine on paper.
Yeah.
So,
and I have an interior design company that they do everything on paper, but because they do high-end interior design, their clientele wants, the 3D renderings of this is what your, $75,000 bathroom is going to look like.
And that's the same thing with my client. He has absolutely no requirement to draw in CAD with any degree of accuracy. So what I had suggested to him, because he had that same requirement from his clients, he's dealing with multi-million-dollar houses that he's making these cabinets custom. They're all made from trees cut down nearby.
Wow.
So, John, look at the that link there, KCD software. That's what my client uses.
Yep.
And it's not too terribly expensive, especially if they're doing a bunch. So plus it also gives you guys a bill of materials.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little bit better for cost tracking. I mean,
that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm going to have to send this off to him because I've yet to find a solution for him at this point.
Yeah, that's what they're currently using. I think they were looking into something else, but it's been a while since I've spoken with them. So, but
I'm impressed enough with this that I'm just going to share that real quick so you can see.
Yeah, this software, they basically, it's all custom designed stuff. I mean, you can do monthly purchases, but you can also buy it outright. So, but I think it's all monthly now for the majority of the application.
So this is a software you sell to them, or you've just sent them?
No. This is one that I saw them using prior to my arrival.
Oh, okay.
And it's, from my understanding, is it's pretty comprehensive, and they've since upgraded the software, and they buy it outright. So they actually have a little USB key that's required to be in the machine for them to save files and whatnot.
Okay.
If I understand it properly, you can open up the software and view files without the key fob. But if you want to save anything, you got to have the key fob. Now, it may be different with the newer versions, because I think they're like on version 7 versus now it's like version 10. So,
yeah.
But.
So on the sales point of view, I have terrible social anxiety, so I don't actually go in and do any sort of sales. Everybody comes to me, and we've just grown our business by dealing with referrals, because I will have terrible panic attacks.
Power of taking people's money.
What's that? Sorry?
I said, you really do have the superpower of taking people's money.
I'm very lucky in that the clients that I started with were very, very happy with my service and have been my salespeople. They are the ones that go out and tout our business. One of the biggest proponents of my business is a local architecture firm that I did a few projects for, and he's very sad that he can't afford in his own business to subscribe to our managed services, like our full big Cadillac version. So he goes out and just constantly talks to every builder he deals with, every plumber, every electrician, every landscaping company. He talks to them all about our business. So I don't, I'm very lucky in that. I don't have to, well, I do need to do sales, to be perfectly clear. I do need to do sales, but I can't bring myself to do it because of my high anxiety.
Gotcha. That seems reasonable. So let me ask you this: that gentleman that keeps referring you, you
Yep.
said wishes he could afford your service, but he can't.
Yep.
So every time he gives you a referral, do you give him something in return?
I send business his way and he sends business my way. We have a very tight-knit local networking group that I'm a part of called LG Approved, which stands for Leeds Grenville, which is the county I'm in. And it's approved professionals. We all had to go through an application process where they go through your business processes to make sure that you are legitimately doing everything you say you will do. And you know, they look at company financials, they ask for referrals from past clients, they talk to referrals of current clients, and you need to show exactly what it is you do and how you do it to prove that you're an approved professional. Since joining them, it's been a floodgate, sort of, because I can often get up and ramble like I am right now in front of this networking group, but I can't go into a business and say, "Hi, I'm Jonathan. I'd like to speak to your management about, you know, whatever." I end up stumbling like I just did, even though I know that if I read that statement I just wrote out, "Hi, I'm John. I'd like to learn more about your business to see if there's anything that we might be able to help you with." I know that works because a good friend of mine is an amazing salesperson and he's tried training me on this, and my anxiety is the only thing that gets in the way. I know the scripts to use. It's the anxiety that's the problem, right? So I'm hoping that being in webinars like this may help me to get over that.
Well, I'm gonna wish.
Let me ask you this, because I mean, I struggle some with the anxiety part in terms of selling or upselling my pre-existing clients, and I think that is a normal reaction to any sales, anything. Do you have that kind of anxiety issue whenever you're like talking to a pre-existing client trying to upsell them?
I don't find that I do. So one thing my clients will say is everybody agrees that I am a ridiculously blunt person and I am often not great with people. So I have flat out told somebody, they've said, "I think this should be sufficient." And I answered them with verbatim, "I think that solution is bullshit." And some people appreciate it and some people don't. So it's I don't know, it's challenging for me. I've definitely lost more business than I've won in my community because of how blunt I am. So,
Well, it could be worse.
Well, on the flip side of things, though, I mean, one, you're getting clients that know exactly what they want, and they know exactly what they're getting.
Yep.
And two, they're putting enough faith in you to say, okay, this guy has vetted a bunch of stuff and knows what he's talking about. So, I mean, I understand. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, exactly. And I find that by being blunt with people, two things happens. One is you weed out all the people who don't actually trust you. And two is that the people who do trust you, if I say you need this, they don't question anymore. The first 2-3 times that I talk to a client, they want to know every little detail and they question every little bit. Now, you know, there's a brewery that's down the street from me that is one of my clients, and I flat out tell them, you know, "I think you need to upgrade this system." Doesn't question, just signs the paper and says, "There you go." He doesn't even look at the price anymore because he knows that I'm the type of guy that's, you know, I look at our business as a partnership with their business.
Yep.
to make what I say to everybody is my goal is to strive to make it so it is identical to an internal IT department. And an internal IT department will always try and work for the betterment of the company. And that means getting the best possible price to do what it is we need to do for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I find by being very honest like that, people don't question anymore. It's very easy for me to upsell because I'm only ever upselling things that I truly believe they need.
Yep. Agreed.
If I may, I
Yeah.
think one of the most important things about the sales process or just doing business is being able to set expectations and more so having the client understand what those expectations are. Once you can get them over those bumps, it's pretty smooth, I would say, as long as you're doing decent service delivery.
Yeah, I will definitely agree with that one. That was actually a point with my most recent agreement signing was, okay, they brought up the fact that it was like, okay, your service times have been kind of slacking. Why is that? And I said, well, okay, here's why. One, because I'm, and I, part of it is just being bluntly honest with the client. If they ask a question like that, or if they, but then again, that's getting into pre-existing clients. We're talking about cold calls. So, I think takeaway from cold calls is that it is okay to accept a no, or it's absolutely okay. Don't get your feelings hurt.
So I'm gonna launch a poll, and I just want to clarify. It does not tell me or anybody else who gave an answer. Okay, so I just want to clarify that. I would like if you would answer this and be honest with yourself when answering the poll. Okay, so that said, one of the things I heard at a little sales presentation once, shoot for no. The quicker you get a no, the quicker you can move on to a different company that is interested in possibly doing business with you. Because if you don't get a no, then you're going to get a maybe. Or, let me talk to my business partner.
And the let me talk to my business partners are not no's directly. And there are things that you should follow up with in a week or a couple days, or ask the question, when should I be able to hear back from you guys? When is a reasonable amount of time to hear back from you guys? And if you don't hear back from them, well, go about your way, or give them a call and ask them, hey, have you thought about anything? A lot of people don't like telling people no. Let's be honest. Nobody likes telling people no. It's just like telling your child no. Nobody likes to say that. But it is a good thing of business is that, but yes.
Something else I learned is you should have, the best way I can think to phrase this is you should have an upfront contract with people when you finally get to that meeting. Okay, this is getting past the phone call. This is getting in the door. You're sitting down with the decision maker, and this upfront contract is basically you saying at the beginning of the meeting, hey, look, we're both adults. The word no is okay. Can you say the word no real quick? Get them to say the word no, so that way they understand that word is okay. And then basically let them know, hey, look, if this truly isn't right for you, I just want you to let me know. If because I don't want to keep wasting your time by hounding you and yada yada yada. And obviously there's probably a right way to phrase all that, but that's something I heard, and I always thought that was really interesting. Looking at the poll, these results are not at all shocking. 64% of you guys have anxiety preventing you from selling. 79% of you guys have a fear of rejection. 43% of you guys are too lazy to sell. And all of those numbers are going to be a little higher if I had the ability to actually answer, because all of those I would have been a yes to. Am I too lazy to sell? Yes, I don't sell. I sit on Zoom all day and talk with Andy and Shiva. Do I have fear of rejection? Yes, that's why I never had a girlfriend in high school. Do I have anxiety preventing you from selling? Yes, I fear rejection so much that it gives me anxiety. So it's really, it's almost debilitating to have this issue as a business owner, right?
Do you mind if I just interject real quick?
Yeah.
So years ago, I used to actually work in sales, and just wrap your head around that one for a minute.
The guy that's afraid of social anxiety and all that used to work in sales?
Yeah. So basically, to give you a little background, in high school, my father told me, you'll never make any money in IT. Don't do that. Go into something else. I went into finance, absolutely hated it, but I made a ton of money. And I realized two things. One is, when I'm in front of people, I'm very good at like when I'm sitting down for a warm meeting and they want to talk to me and they want my advice, I'm good at sales, because people seem to trust me because I'm very blunt, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing I learned is that my results as far as cold calling are nearly impossible statistically. Like, I'm so bad at cold calling and and cold walking into businesses, it's nearly statistically impossible to be that bad. And one of the ways that my boss, who was amazing at sales, had tried to coach me, and this works for most people, is sit down and figure out what your numbers are. You should, as a business owner, you should always know what your success rate is at every step of the sales process. So, you should know, I knew that I would make 200 calls and I would get one appointment, right? So I would pick up the phone book, and this was my call list, by the way. When I asked for the call list on the first day, he handed me a phone book and said, start at A. So
that sounds awful.
Yeah, it was very awful, but I would make 200 calls a day and I would make one sale from that. One sale as in an appointment. I would book an appointment. Every appointment I went to, every first appointment I would go to, I would get approval to go to the next appointment or a sale. By the second appointment, I would always have a sale. So statistically, those numbers don't make any sense. It should be 100 calls for one appointment and then 3 appointments for one sale. So, know where your strengths are is sort of what I'm getting at, because the way he did it is, he's like, you realize that based on how much you sell on the appointments you book, every time that you pick up the phone and dial a number, no matter what they say, you just made $20. So that's what he would do. And he would sit there with me, and he went to the bank machine and took out, like, I think it was like $400. And then every time I would dial the phone, he'd stick a 20 on the desk, and then another 20 and another 20. And although I wouldn't be getting appointments, he'd look at me and say, you just made this much money today just by making those calls, no matter what they said. So for some people that works. And I would say even the majority of people that works. But for me, it didn't, just because of the level of anxiety that I have.
Where can I go to get $20 every time I make a phone call?
In your business, you're doing it right now, right? Like, I know realistically that every time I walk into a business, I make about $200 to $300. But I can't bring myself to walk into a business. I would rather lose that $200 or $300 than give myself an anxiety attack by walking into these businesses, right?
So, all right, I want to throw something out there. One, I'm going to read what Andy wrote. He says, look for a local BNI group, bni.com, Business Networking International. I was in a group for 5 years, and it did well for me. And the group was falling apart, so I left. But that's not BNI's fault. That was the leadership of that group's fault. Something else that I think you guys should look into, especially based on the poll results. Holy cow. I'm going to share my screen here. Have you guys heard of Toastmasters? Resounding.
I have.
Ben told me about it.
A resounding maybe. Excellent. So Toastmasters International, it is international. So they have locations everywhere. I want to say the membership price is flexible. So by that I mean like one chapter is going to cost different than a different chapter. But the thing that is really fantastic about Toastmasters, they kind of walk you through public speaking. And by being in Toastmasters, you know, they've got all these different roles. They've got someone that their job is to count ums, uhs, you know, those type of like that as you're trying to figure out what to say next. They literally count all of those in your presentation and then say, oh, by the way, you did 74 ums and uhs in your 5-minute presentation. And you just sit there and go, holy cow, I suck. But as you continue to make your path through Toastmasters, you'll find that all of those little things that they're counting and keeping you accountable on, they start to look better and better. I think they have somebody that dings you every time you say like I just did on accident. So it's a really, really cool club. It's something that I've strongly considered joining. Like every 2 years, I keep thinking, man, I should just go to a Toastmasters. But instead I started doing webinars. So yay, public speaking. But this would be great for those of you, especially if you have the anxiety preventing you from selling. I think once you just get comfortable speaking in front of people, that's really going to help. And then once you're comfortable speaking in front of all the people that you've gotten to know at Toastmasters, go check out another Toastmasters and try and get an opportunity to speak in front of the group of strangers. And then go to your library, your local library, and offer to give a 1 or 2 hour seminar on something, cybersecurity, the dark web, something that is related to your business, something that you're comfortable educating people on. And the more you are passionate about a topic, the more comfortable you're going to be talking to a group of strangers about it, right? So pick something you really love. For me, I chose here's how you properly back up your Apple iPhones and iPads for my first one when I went to a library and spoke. And it was scary. There were 70 people in attendance, which was a lot of, because this is different. There's what, 20 people in this room right now, and I can't see any of you because I'm looking at the Toastmasters website. That's fantastic for me. And even when I am looking at you, it's just a screen on my computer. If you make me sad, I just close the window, right? But if I'm speaking in front of a group of real, actual live people, what am I going to do? Run out of the room? I mean, so, and Andy's sitting there nodding like, yeah, I would run out of the room. So sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say one of the things that I've done in when I was in college, I took a speech course, and the speech course was purely that, basically sort of similar to Toastmasters. They would record your speeches.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole point of it was, yes, he would grade you. Yes, he would mark down things, but he would give you the DVD of the speech and say, here's your DVD. Go watch it.
Oh, that would make my stomach turn.
And no, you learn a lot about your mannerisms. You learn a lot about your speech, your cadence, your ums and uhs. And within the first 2 minutes of watching my first speech, I had to turn it off. It was chalkboard, just nails on chalkboard, because of the amount of ums, the no pauses, the stuttering, the stammering. You learn a lot about how you present yourself. Some things I've done since then is I have somewhat regularly presented a speech to myself and just recorded it and then watch it back. I mean, you could do that. You don't have to, you are going to be your worst critic. The other people, they will find other things that either you didn't flesh out, in your speech, or you didn't present a certain topic very well, but your speech, your cadence, and your actual presentation, you're going to be your worst critic on. That's kind of what I've noticed with myself, and that's something that's kind of kept me from falling back into the standard everyday speech issues that a lot of people have when they go to speak to a person. They don't let the speak flow naturally. Everybody thinks that a pause should always have something in there. Just listen to yourself. And a lot of that confidence, when you start watching yourself and you watch your progress from saying ums and uhs and stammering goes away, the confidence in your presentation and what the business owner sees in that presentation increases dramatically, and your confidence to pitch increases dramatically. A lot of your ability to pitch is also directly derived on your confidence in yourself to pitch something that you would be proud to pitch. So if you're proud and you're confident in the way that you speak, in the way that your body language gives the presentation, then yes, that is 90% right there of in my mind, a good 90% of your holdback in here from speaking to somebody. It's a learned habit or learned thing that you have to prevent, I guess is the best way of saying it. You have to learn new habits to prevent those old habits.
Excellent.
And heck, I just do a basic webcam right there. Just turn it on, hit the record button, make sure the screen is minimized so I don't see myself, because the worst thing is trying to record yourself and you see yourself at the same time. But just give a 5-10 minute speech. Doesn't have to be on anything in particular. Could be on bowling balls. It doesn't matter. But
I was going to recommend cicadas.
Yeah, but give a 5 to 10 minute speech. Try to and try to sell a bowling ball. And see how it works for you.
So, Brian, I don't want you to think I've forgotten about you.
So.
Oh, wonderful.
Just thought I'd throw that out there. So Brian, do you guys focus on a particular industry?
No, we have not been. Honestly, we know we have strong verticals in healthcare, doctor's offices, dentist office primarily have been very good. We also have strong verticals in lawyers' offices. However, I have found that, who really needs it the most are the smaller shops. We just have a harder time tailoring the smaller package and keeping our margins in with the smaller shops.
So, okay.
What is a smaller shop?
Someone with less than 10 PCs.
Now, we have a 10 user minimum. So if it'll work at 10, ideally it will scale and work at 100, 200, 300. What we'll do for a smaller shop is allow them to pay us the $1,600 minimum, whether they have 5 or 10 users. They're going to pay for 10 anyway.
It's an interesting approach.
We'll give you the privilege of giving us your money.
Of course.
Even though you're not what we're looking for.
I find many small businesses in our area struggle just at, the idea of $200 to $300, never mind $1,600.
That's what we found as well.
Yeah, because I'm the same as you. As I focus on, there's a lot of really small businesses here, like mom and pop shop, like literally 2 to 3 users. And what we've done for them is we've created 3 different packages We've got break fix, we've got ITA, and then we've got managed services. And obviously managed services, Cadillac, that's like what Shiva's talking about there. But the break fix, we install our agent on all their computers. They call us within 5 minutes. We're on their computer fixing the problems, bill them for it, off we go. That allows us to have our foot in the door more often. And then usually what happens is we slowly scale up and we'll start selling them, start with AV, then 365, then anti-spam, then backups, then, you know, obviously not in that order. I tend to put higher priority on backups over anything else. But then beyond that, once they at least have backups under a package with us, we can start talking them into IT Assist, which is our ITA package. And that's a little bit more lucrative for us. But then, of course, the entire goal at the end of the day is to get them into managed services like you guys are.
So what are you charging for your fully managed package?
Fully managed, there's a lot of, oh, sorry, was that for Brian?
No, that was you, Jonathan.
Okay. So fully managed around here, unfortunately, there's a lot of competition from the fly-by-night people. So it's about $30 a computer and $150 a server with a flat $100 a month non-negotiable for managing their backups.
I know Shiva has questions.
I guess my question is based around the fact that you're pricing yourself around the fly-by-night people.
Yeah, we're a little bit above, and by that I mean about 4 to 5 times above the fly-by-night people around here. But because we're a legitimate business, it's a little bit easier. The problem is even the like boutique brands, they are at that same price in this area. In the bigger cities. So as soon as I get into Kingston or I get into Ottawa, it's really easy for me to charge $130, $140 a user flat rate, and off we go to the races with profitability.
Now, is that really based on your competition or geography?
It's based on the fact that there are 3 main competitors that are geographically close to this area, and they are very competitive in this area for whatever reason.
What about the differential between you and them? I mean, I have 2 MSPs in the same building where my office is. I cold call them multiple times a month to find out their offering and their pricing. And, you know, they're doing the same thing, $35, $50 for the machine, this, that, or what have you. And we are effectively $160 a user, giving you everything with network infrastructure as a service. So, yeah. I mean, I guess my point of me rambling here is differentiate yourself from other people. Just because they're charging X doesn't mean you need to charge X times 5. Charge X times 50. I mean, if you give superior service, then do that. And you know, how profitable over the course of a year is that $35 device client relative to you investing your time or your team's time in building clients who are willing to pay you $100, $150 an hour, what have you, or device or user?
Yeah, no question. There's definitely going to be more profit in going the boutique route where you're charging like $160 a user type thing. Maximum I can tell you in this area that you'll get is about the $140 a user mark, and that's based on the most prestigious in this area, which is actually an MSP that I partner with, and they're called Grade A. They are literally the top tier in Eastern Ontario and arguably most of Canada. As far as service goes, quality of service, you know, all their KPIs, it just blows every other MSP out of the water, including myself. So, you know, often what happens is we charge ourselves as a small town boutique. is sort of where we try and put ourselves at, where we try and drive for the same KPIs that grade A is using. But we are definitely in a very small town of 20,000 people, and there are 3 other MSPs that you need to charge with. And unfortunately, the only way that we have found to set ourselves to win business is unfortunately to go to that same price point. And I wish I could find a way, honestly, Shiva, if I would love to sit down and pick your brains on how to get that 160 a user. But I'm having trouble seeing how that could happen in this market.
So let me just pull up a spreadsheet here. I won't share it, but I'll give you a little insight as to how or what we do to get that 160. If anyone here has any objections, I can not do it. You guys tell me. Steve?
What?
No, he was asking how I get the 160. And I can expand on that if people are interested. If not, that's a conversation we can have outside of here.
Yeah, do it, man.
So I'm just going to list off what's included in my 160 package. RMM patching and the agent, Intercept X from Sophos, Sophos Endpoint Protection Advanced, Sophos Device Encryption, the Reflection Email Standard, Central Mobile Advanced, which is their full Apple DEP software, Office E3, Cisco Umbrella, and other than that, they get the firewall as a service, they get switches as a service, access points as a service, as well as backup and disaster recovery. So we will go in, we'll put the devices in and make sure they get a very good disaster recovery plan. Jason, yes, firewall as a service. I use Sophos, I retain ownership, and I use their monthly pricing for the license. And all in all, my cost to deliver this is about $33, $34 per user. But when you start to explain to the client that they're going to get all of that, plus unlimited support, obviously during standard business hours, whether it's on-site or remote, now you have a conversation. And you're also going in there, putting in new switches, putting in firewalls, and standardizing them. Sonic wall.
Can you, because I was trying to keep up, can you list all that again?
Sure. Hold on. You have the RMM agent. You have RMM patching, Sophos Intercept X, Sophos Endpoint Advanced Protection, or Protection Advanced, sorry. Sophos Device Encryption, Reflection Email, Sophos Central Mobile Advanced, which is their mobile device management, Microsoft Office E3, Cisco Umbrella, on-site and remote support, firewall as a service, server antivirus, and we include servers with their users. It's not something extra that we charge. Backup and disaster recovery. They get access to our help desk. If they have internal IT, they can run we require them to run their help desk off of our ConnectWise instance. Otherwise, it's a non-starter for us. And short of that, all that comes up to $33, $34 for us to deliver. Now, that does not include labor costs, but most of what we do is automated, or should be at least.
And you said firewall as a service, switches as a service. Are you also doing Wi-Fi APs as a service then?
Yes.
Any other networking devices I'm not thinking of as a service?
Firewall, network switches, and APs. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Jason, disaster recovery as a service is Veeam right now. And after a call today, I am looking at Infrascale. I'm waiting on a demo for that, but I'm not sure. They're not as cost effective as Veeam, but it's an option. Datto I started with, I no longer use them. However, I do use, for disaster recovery, that is, I use their switches and access points for network as a service.
Okay. So I just and what are you charging for that? 160 a user?
160.
Jason, I replied to you regarding the cold calls and prospects and whatnot. There is no trust inherent whatsoever with a cold call. Don't ever walk in there expecting there to be any. But what you are is you're looking to build the trust and build it quickly. And a lot of times that's finding out something and giving either a small solution or a something that you would then sell them on a larger thing. And that's kind of why, seriously, I mean, for cold calls, look at the wedge. I hate to say it, but it's a very easy, proven method. And the book is it's solid. It's worth it. It's worth the $30 to pay for it. It's going to pay for itself. So
Here's another thing.
Real quick, guys. I just want to remind everyone. I put the link in the chat real quick. That is how you can find that Word document I started. At the bottom of that document, I did list out everything that's in Shiva's stack.
I can share the Excel sheet if you'd like, Steve.
I mean, if you want, but I think people are going to be more interested in like what you're actually using.
Yeah, no, the sheet lists my offering for my fully managed as opposed to my security stack.
Got it.
So,
There's also a ton of various notes on selling. So feel free to contribute your thoughts on that. I'm going to try and compile all of this into some type of usable document that I'll share out with people on my Patreon page later on. Shiva, feel free to continue. Thank you.
yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. Jonathan, do you have any other questions about the stack and how I sell it?
I'm not sure I have direct questions. I would, the reason I started partnering with that company, Grade A, partly because I'm very close friends with the two owners.
Okay.
But also because they are that boutique firm that is very close to the way you are working. Everything is as a service. It is unlimited, and it is the end all and be all. As far as I know, their attrition rate of clients is so unbelievably low, which I imagine yours is the same way, right? So I've been trying to learn how they're doing that as well. So to be able to partner, or at least learn from somebody like you is very helpful. I don't have direct questions because I don't know enough about it to have a direct question,
Well, one thing to realize is I've only been doing MSP since June of last year. Prior to that, I have been doing IT consulting work in the enterprise. My company is 17 years old. And support-wise, on I guess our break fix consulting, whatever you want to call it, it's about 4,000 users that we support on a daily basis. On my MSP side, I currently have about 1,400 agents deployed. So I don't think I would be the best judge for attrition, being only 6 or 7 months into the MSP side of things.
Okay, but you're still, Grade A as an example. I really hope that that's okay for me to share that, but they have about 12,000 endpoints at this point.
Right.
And I'm sitting here at like 80 as of January 25th, and it'll be like 150 as of February 1st. So, I'm extremely small. But I would love to be able to have that, to build the way you've built it, right? Where you've purposely positioned yourself as a, what I like to call boutique.
Well, I like to, and this is something all the guys who come into the Zoom room, I tend to say, build the company that you want to be, not the company that you are or think you are. If you know in a year you want to be at X thousand endpoints, build a company for that. Choose your RMM that will take you there. When I started in June, I hastily signed a contract with SolarWinds and realized it was deficient relative to what I believe ConnectWise could do. And that put me off my goals and targets by 2 or 3 months from having that switch. So while you're still small, it affords you the ability to get your processes and procedures worked out. And as I said, if it works at 10, it'll work at 1,000. It'll work at 2,000. It doesn't matter.
Excellent, thank you. So I think we've got time to do 1 or 2 more role plays. Everyone's favorite thing to do today, right? Don't worry, Brian, I didn't forget you.
Wonderful.
Excellent. All right. Brian, I think you should just
Hey,
call.
Steven,
Yes,
can I
Dave.
be the customer on this one?
I was actually going to say, Brian, I think you should call Dave.
Perfect.
Dave, we only see half of you.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm standing, so it's funky.
gotcha. So we're just doing a cold call scenario.
Yep.
Wonderful. So, hi, my name is Brian. I'm with Effortless IT. I was wondering if one of the managers was available.
Hey, Brian, this is David, and I work with J. Morgan Flowers.
Wonderful. Hey, I got a quick question for you, man. Has your computer given you a headache at all in the last couple of weeks?
Nope, hasn't.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's great to hear. I was just wondering if you might have a few minutes that we could come on in and do a quick 27-point audit of your guys' IT situation, show you where you stand, and, maybe put a plan in place to see what we can do to improve some things.
I mean, we don't really need it. I manage the stuff myself. I know what I'm doing, and we've been at this for about 10 years. We've had 0 issues.
Hey, that's great to hear. One thing I always just like to say, the audit is completely free. I have seen people, merchant processors, for example, score 25 in security. They were great at what they did. They didn't necessarily have the security. Why don't we just take care of that audit so you know where you stand and you have that baseline, especially if anything were to happen. You can go show your insurance company, show anything. You've had these audits done, and this is where you stand.
Well, nothing's happened in 10 years. I mean, what's the likelihood anything's going to happen?
Well, you'd be amazed. 53% of companies without a plan to happen go out of business within 1 year of a disaster occurring.
Well, what kind of disaster could occur?
Something as simple as an employee opening the wrong Word file and every document on your network is now encrypted and you can't even access it.
We can survive without that. We're a flower shop. I mean, yeah, it'll hurt a bit, but we'll be all right.
Yeah, you've got customer records, you've got vendor information in there.
We print all that and keep it on file anyway. I mean, the computer's really a data entry thing for us and just more for communications. All our stuff is in the cloud with email, and we don't really, we can function without this stuff.
Well, hey, I'm kind of glad you mentioned that. You have cloud email services. Are you guys doing any type of like cloud to cloud backup in case something were to happen to your cloud provider?
No, we're with Microsoft. They do a good job. And honestly, again, if that goes, we got printouts. And you got to think about it this way. What's the likelihood of our cloud going and our local going all at the same time?
Ransomware is very effective at taking care of that, to be honest. I have seen people without proper backups in place. They've lost everything in the cloud and locally because the ransomware got uploaded.
You can't beat paper, my friend. That's why we use it.
This is very true, but I'm kind of at a loss on that one.
Brian, I'm sorry for being a jerk, but dude, I lived this exact thing last night. That's why
I know, I love it. Thank you for doing it.
I have the guy's card here, and he put me through the same crap last night. So just think how you would handle that same thing.
Man, that was great. You normally I can get around a lot of those objections. You had me.
I went at him, and his final response was, listen, I have a lot of enemies. I'm going to give them to you so you could approach them with all these fear tactics that you're using on me. I was like, all right, bring it.
Perfect.
So, one of the things that I heard that Shiva has ingrained in my mind, it's not free, Brian. It's not free. It's at no cost to you.
Very good point. It's valued at something.
So, Brian, I have some questions for you, actually. The
Yeah.
27-point audit, what do you use for that?
The audit for IT.
Okay.
I would never say I have a 27-point audit for you.
Okay.
I'd never say audit either. Audit makes me think of the IRS. No one wants that fear, whether they make that correlation or not. I would always try to, personally, I would try to phrase it as we'd like to come in and take a walk through your systems to make sure they're operating as effectively as you need them, or something along those lines. I've learned, like Jonathan, I came from the financial world. So I learned a long time ago, you can't use fear to sell anything. You'll get a few, but you'll not get that critical mass that you need or want.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you, that stat you used on me, where'd you get that from?
That actually came directly from audit for IT. They have it on one of their infographics.
I would say that 100% of the time, that stat should work 60% of the time. I mean, stats are confusing for people, in my opinion. And did you know that like 86% of stats are just made up anyway?
Like the number you just made up there? No, I think actually the number on audit is it's 53% of businesses experience it, and then something like 43%. But I was just grabbing it off the top of my head there.
Hey, Steve.
Yes, sir.
I think I might have something that may help some of us. We were talking about anxiety earlier. I just wasn't ready to do much talking at the time. But I have a couple ideas that might help some people here besides Toastmasters. I mean, that would definitely help. I feel like I can briefly mention that. Should I? Okay, I guess I will. Basically, a combination of possibly two things. And this is not involving like doctors or anything like that, nothing like that. The first and foremost, something called EFT, or emotional freedom technique. It allows, because a lot of the time our anxiety is literally either in our head or we actually feel it in some way, like a stomach thing, and you just can't do anything, can't even think sometimes. And that's when we get all the jabbering and whatnot. But that alongside with hypnosis. Because literally both of those things together are actually really powerful, because I can tell you, I won't say the details of it, but I had a personal experience where I had some major emotional stuff going on and it impacted my business. So I sought help, and those two in combination can help out with so many things. I was like, this would actually be a really good thing for anxiety too. Is the EFT, or it's called tapping. If you wanted to check it out at all, thetappingsolution.com to find out about it. It's basically based on acupuncture, but you just tap yourself on various parts of the body, mostly on the face. And it basically lets you release whatever is bothering you. So that way you can actually break through that, gain that confidence a little quicker, and then Toastmasters can help you fine tune it.
What if the something that's bothering me is a someone?
It can be.
Can I just tap them in the face really hard?
You can tap about them, but not to them. They might not like that too much.
So I got a private message from, we're just going to say someone. It says, I have to take care of something. I get very bad anxiety with sales and talking to new people. My last sales call went decent, but I was very nervous, and I'm sure it showed. That night I talked to my wife about it. She happens to be a therapist. She suggested next time I have a sales call, I should take a Xanax beforehand to calm things down. I'm not the type of guy that likes to take drugs, but this seems like a good idea, at least until I get more comfortable with doing it. So I would say I will recommend that as long as you get a prescription for the Xanax, okay? I'm not going to say you should go find some off the street. That's a bad
little suggestion that kind of goes along with that. Drugs just patch the problem, as evidenced by the fact that it wears off. I don't like drugs myself, So I try to find what's called the holistic way of going about it, and the combination of therapy, hypnosis, EFT, all that kind of stuff, but not the drugs that go sometimes along with it. You can get around that and actually feel a lot better quickly, especially on the tapping if you work with a practitioner. That tends to make it even more effective. And literally, the major thing I had to get over was literally went from a major emotional thing to just a fact in my mind within about 30 minutes. I thought that was pretty quick.
That is pretty good.
Yep. So the only thing is, for this stuff to be effective, especially hypnosis, you have to want it to actually work for you. You can't just say, "Oh, I doubt it'll work," and all this other stuff. Doubting it, well, you can't be hypnotized unless you actually want to be. And
Well, I tried actually. I wanted to be hypnotized.
some people
It
can't
didn't
be.
work.
Sometimes they can't. EFT is a lot more. You're in control of it because you're actually doing it yourself, maybe following a script or something, and it's actually very calming and relaxing at the same time, which is part of the releasing. Yeah, I actually get pretty sweaty when I do it because it's just like, holy crap, how much is like being released or whatnot. But anyways, it's not like a holistic conference or anything. So I figure I at least mention that as a possibility for people that want to try something that's a little bit more unique and can be, you could probably just go on YouTube and find the right thing and do it for free. So
Okay.
that's my piece.
So there's two remedies. Do drugs, prescription drugs, get hypnotized, or tapping.
I have, I think practice is probably best.
I was actually going to say something that might work better is just keep doing the thing that you don't want to do, and eventually you'll be all right at it. That's something. I mean, as off topic as this seems, uh, our daughter is adopted, and she'd never done a chore in her life until she moved in with us, and so we had her doing simple chores for the last couple of years, and she just turned 12, and now she's doing adult chores. So she goes out and shovels the driveway and loads the dishwasher and runs laundry and that kind of stuff. And I mean, we're not making her Cinderella. We only give her a couple to do a day, but she needs to understand how to do this stuff for herself. And every day, it's a fight. She gets attitude and she starts yelling and screaming at us. And this is stupid. I can't wait till I grow up and I don't have to do this for myself. And it was the same thing back when we were giving her the easy chores. But eventually it just became like, okay, I'm going to get home, I'm going to unload the dishwasher, and that's it. That's my easy chore for the day. I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to go to my room and play on my Nintendo or whatever. And that was her routine. So get yourself in a routine is what that was really taking you through, because we're getting her on the routine now of you get home, you do 2 or 3 chores, and then you get to have a couple hours to do whatever you want. She doesn't get homework at her school, so she just gets to relax and veg out. So routine. I actually am working on getting myself into a new routine where, like, every morning I need to go through a checklist of various whatever things that I want to accomplish every day, and eventually on that checklist, making phone calls is going to go, and I don't want to do it. But I have to do it. I think we all have to do it.
Great journals. Track everything you do. Outlines you 13 weeks at a time. Let's put your goals, your tasks, everything in. It's best self journal. I'll put it in the chat.
Excellent. Dave,
Yep.
I would love
Oh
to
God.
be your customer.
Oh God. You're forgetting I'm the guy who's horrible at this.
It's okay, man.
I'm gonna come crash and burn, but all right. Ring-a-ding.
That was perfect. My phone just rang. Hello? How can I help you?
Yeah, I'm trying to reach the business decision maker.
What? I don't even know what you mean. Whatever you're selling, sir, I don't think I want any.
I'm actually not selling a single thing. I'm calling you from Solution Squad. We're a managed services provider. We're actually expanding our coverage area into your area as well, which is Hollywood. And the only thing I'm doing is I want to stop in, say hello, introduce myself, drop off a card, and just make sure we know each other in case you ever need our services. Not selling you anything, and there's no commitment.
Well, I guess that'd be fine, but can I ask a really dumb question?
Of course. What is managed services?
Okay, maybe it's not a dumb question.
It's actually a very common question. So managed services is a term that a lot of our competition is using these days. We just call it IT services. We take away the headaches of managing your digital life, your technology. We deal with it for you. We make sure it works flawlessly without you having to intervene.
I mean, if you just want to come drop something off, that's fine.
Sure. Just to tell you a bit more about managed services, to clarify, how many computers do you guys have?
We've got 36 here.
You have 36 computers, and I'm assuming with those you have some servers as well.
I don't know. I don't know what a server is.
Okay. Do you have anything in the cloud? Do you have email? Any kind of applications you use on a daily basis?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in QuickBooks every day. We've got email.
Do you know if that QuickBooks is being backed up?
It should be.
Has anyone checked it lately?
I mean, I just assume it gets backed up. I mean, I don't know, man. I just
Got
pay the bills here. Okay?
Not a problem at all. So that's what we do. We actually make sure all those answers are properly answered, addressed, and someone from our team is actually responsible for all those. So you could go back to doing what you do and running your business instead of having to deal with all those IT problems that become a pesky nuisance and you don't want to deal with. So let me ask you, how is tomorrow morning for you?
This all sounds like really expensive, though.
Oh, not at all. Because by the time we do our audit, which is at no cost to you, and by the time we tell you everything that is a problem with your network, and once we remediate all that, you'll see how much savings that actually brings you and how much time it saves you, so you can actually grow your business.
Okay.
But like I said, it's
Yeah,
a non-sales
come
meeting.
drop
I just
something
want to
off.
introduce myself.
Okay, yeah, sure. You can come drop some stuff off tomorrow.
Fantastic. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, good for you?
Well, I mean, I didn't think we needed an appointment just for you to drop some stuff off and say hi.
Well, I want to introduce myself, so I'd like to make sure I have your undivided attention, and if you have any questions, I could address them for you.
That's asking a lot. Undivided attention. You don't even have that right now.
That's why I want to meet with you in person and make sure I have that attention.
Fair enough.
I'd like to give you mine as well, so I'd ask the same in respect.
That seems fair enough. What time are you stopping by?
5 in the morning, good for you?
That's a hard pass.
All right. What's a good time for you?
How about like 10:30?
Beautiful. I will be at your door at 10:20.
Okay. Sounds
Now,
good.
the reason I'll be at your door at 10:20, Steve, this is something I learned, I believe, in the Zoom group, is so I could sit there for 10 minutes and observe your environment and listen to your people and see what you got.
Really creepy. I'm just throwing that out there, sir.
No. We got off the call. I'm just telling you this.
A phone call.
Isn't that Shiva one?
Yeah.
Like, I thought I was gonna hang up twice now.
Oh, you've hung up already.
You hung up. I'm just telling you my mindset,
Oh,
why I would show
okay.
up
I thought I was still on the phone with you.
No. Call is done. I'm just telling you. I think it was Carlos who said, get there a little early, sit down, listen, see what's going on. Look at how their computers are. Are the battery backups clean, or are they so dusty they're 50 years old? In your mind, you start to realize who you're dealing with, who you're about to meet with.
Excellent. Let's see. I want to look through my list of people. There's a lot of people in here.
I guess who wants to go next? Is the question.
Shelby, I think she wants to go next. The look on her face says yes, even though she says no. Her smile says yes.
Shelby definitely wants to go next because she's my VP of sales.
Oh, I think I think that was your boss saying you have to.
I have an idea. Why doesn't Shelby pitch Brian?
I love
that
but
sounds
you may
like
get some,
fun.
echo off our mics.
Andy, you're up.
All right, Shelby has
I
to
was up
pitch
already.
Andy. It'll be easy, Andy.
Oh, fine. I'll do it again.
Oh wait, Raul just came back on camera.
Yeah, let's have Raul.
Raul, you can be the evil
Shelby-
dirty customer.
Is
I'll
Shelby
be
pitching
the
or being
dirty
pitched?
customer. Okay.
What was that, Shiva?
Who's pitching?
Shelby's pitching.
Okay,
She's the VP of sales. She's got this.
there you go. So does that mean that is Brian in the background?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So is it a cold call scenario?
Yeah, same thing as just before.
Okay. Hi, this is Shelby Hayes with Effortless IT. Wanted to speak to your person in charge today.
You're speaking to him.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm doing pretty good as well. I just actually wanted to reach out to you and see if you had any issues with your computers or any of your software or systems that you use.
Currently, no. I run everything in the office and it's running pretty smoothly.
That's fantastic. Do you currently do backups and you have a disaster and recovery plan in place in case any unforeseen issues come up?
No. I just kind of put everything on my local hard drive and I just let it sit there and everything runs smoothly every single day.
Okay. Well, if I could actually take a moment of your time, I'd like to schedule a meeting to come in sometime and just sit down and talk about what we could actually offer in case of any kind of issues you could possibly have, and see where we could actually assist you in making your technology needs and what you have today work for your company.
Okay.
And help assist your business processes.
I don't really care to sit down. How long is this meeting going to be?
It'd be max an hour of your time.
And what are we going to do during that hour?
We'd sit down, and since you said you save everything on your local hard drive, we could talk about different kind of backup options that you'd have in case of any kind of disasters that could happen, because they're not only like natural disasters. Say you have an employee and either it's a user error where they accidentally delete something or something accidentally happens, or you have maybe, heaven forbid, a disgruntled employee that decides to sabotage some of the stuff that you have on your local hard drive after a severance of employment.
Can you protect me against ransomware or anything like that?
Yes, and that's what we could actually talk about in our meeting. I could bring with me our senior engineer, who's way more versed in the technical aspect of everything than I am, and we could give you all of that information at our meeting.
Okay.
Now, would maybe Monday at 11 work good for you? Or what
No,
would it
why don't we do Friday?
Friday? Fantastic. Would 11 work for Friday?
10.
10? Okay, great. And can I get your email address just so I can send you a confirmation and just a little bit more information about us and our services?
I'm not ready to disclose that yet. Just call me.
Okay, I can definitely do that. So I will see you Friday at 10.
Yep.
Fantastic. Have a great day.
So a couple things that I noticed. Shelby, I don't think I heard you ask for his name.
I did not. I noticed that as well.
And I mean, I know it's right there on the screen, but
Yeah.
that's probably why.
The webinar,
That
I get
probably threw
nervous
you off.
like this aspect.
Throws
That's
you off.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
The
And
one
then-
thing- I'm sorry, go ahead, Steve.
And then the other thing that I noticed, a lot of us are using technical jargon. You know, Dave said managed services. Shelby said disaster and recovery plan. God, I'm pretty sure I said something at some point when I went earlier. So I think the one thing I always try to do is assume I'm talking to an idiot. No offense, Rowan.
Yeah. Hey, Steve.
Okay.
I get that.
I've
Yes.
been in Steve's Zoom room, kind of absorbing and asking questions as I go throughout my day, and I've been very quiet. And I've been in the industry for 6 years. Something happened to my previous business, and I restarted under a new name, and that's why I'm doing this again. But one of the things I used to do is I went on every single webinar and every single training I possibly could. And yes, it's good to do these. And I fell on my face a million times, and I hate doing role playing like anybody else does. I stopped talking about technology overall, and I started discussing having more of a business conversation.
I think that's what a lot of business owners care more about.
Right.
They care about their company. They don't care about
Right.
their
And the computer, the server, and all that other stuff. 85% of your communication is what matters. The other 15% of technology and all this other stuff, they don't care about it. So I forget where I saw it, but I saw it somewhere on LinkedIn. It's like business is 85% communication and 15% technical. And I honestly believe that because I've been realizing more and more lately, like the less I talk about technology and the more I get to know somebody and I get to start telling them, here's certain things and best practices that I can see for your business. And I embed myself in their business. It's not about, all the tech in the world, because you could throw all the tech you want at them, but they're not going to spend all that kind of money if they don't trust you to start with.
So Shiva, I noticed, had something to say, and then after that, we're gonna start wrapping up. Shiva, please.
Don't get too techie with them. Do not ever speak to them about ROI. Focusing on your business. Let us do your IT so you can focus on your business because everyone is saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Speak to them about business continuity. Speak to them about maintaining their uptime so that they can focus on work. That's just the way to get through to them. Managed services is not cheaper than break fix. It's not cheaper than any other form of consulting. The benefit of managed services is to potentially attain maximum uptime, and that's all it is. So use that as the cornerstone of your pitch, and you should be okay, in my opinion.
That's actually very helpful. In my opinion, I respectfully disagree. I do think managed services can be, I don't know if I want to say cheaper, but I feel like it should or can be when you're also providing, like look at that whole stack you're providing to these people, Shiva. I mean, you're including hundreds or thousands.
What you're providing,
of
you don't
software.
see.
On
But then
top
again,
of-
Steve, you're looking at the technology aspect of it, which is not what we're selling. We're selling business continuity.
Selling experience.
We're selling experience, business continuity, and peace of mind. You don't get that with break fix.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, with break fix, you're always rolling a truck. You're always waiting. You're always doing these things
It is
cost you more money because whether or not you're charging a travel rate or whatever you're doing, it's a constant like I'm waiting for the next project and the next fire versus I'm being proactive and I'm putting things in place that will prevent that those fires from happening.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent points, guys. All right, I'm gonna hit this button. I've always wanted to hit it. Mute all. Muhahaha. All right. So we're done for today. We've got a few webinars coming up, and I think you guys are going to enjoy them. Tuesday, we're going to take this to the next level. We're going to work on our pitch while we're in front of somebody. We're at that meeting. We worked all day today scheduling, right? So Tuesday we're gonna work on that some more. 1 o'clock Eastern. I'm gonna put a link in the chat, mspwebinars.com. If you click on that, you can check out the calendar and register for any of the upcoming webinars. Thursday, Thursday's webinar is going to be awesome as well for those of you that are using ConnectWise Automate especially, or what many call LabTech. We've got Brian Kelly, who's like a ConnectWise guru. He's going to come in and he's going to teach us how to do best practice patch management using Automate. Some of these concepts you'll be able to take and use in whatever other RMM tools you're using, whether it's AEM, Kaseya, Ninja, whatever. Okay, so then let's see. Tuesday, February 6th, we've got Matei from Autotask coming in. He's going to teach us about Autotask endpoint management, not just a particular feature. We're just going to have a nice tech talk about the whole system. Thursday, February 8th, we're going to do another roundtable mastermind session. That one's not going to be recorded. That one's not going to be streamed on YouTube. We're going to talk about problems we're having. And I don't want everyone's dirty laundry on the internet, okay? I think you can all appreciate that. So finally, with upcoming webinars, I have one coming up on Wednesday. It is not yet scheduled because I need to get some final things going on. I have one coming up for Wednesday. It's going to be regarding a documentation platform and an awesome deal that they're doing just for MSP Webinars community. So I'm really excited about that. You guys will get some details on that in an email that goes out either tomorrow or Monday. And let's recap today's webinar real quick. So we talked about cold calling, cold walking in, and it's hard. It really is hard. I think the best way to get good at it is going to be practice. That's why we were kind of doing this today. Obviously, you know, other guys that know exactly what you're talking about, other IT people, aren't the best people to practice with. The best people to practice with are prospects. But here's some good things to consider. Try to ask open-ended questions that require a thought-out answer. Can I speak to the person in charge? No. You don't want them to have the ability to say no, right? I'd like to set up an appointment to speak with the person in charge. Now you're having a conversation. Try to avoid technical lingo. They don't know what managed services are. They don't know what a disaster plan is. And this isn't me picking on you guys, okay? This is we're all trying to help each other, okay? So just keep that in mind when you are talking to these people, especially on the phone. Just have a conversation. Sales should be a polite conversation between two people, and they don't even know they're being sold to. Allow your conversation to flow with confidence. Work on your procedure for speaking. Deal with the what before the when. Be attentive. Be confident. People love to talk about themselves. Let them. The less you talk, the more of an opportunity they are going to take to speak. Get their name at the beginning and make sure you say their name often in the phone call. People like hearing their own name. So Tuesday, we're going to wrap this up and do some more role playing. We're going to practice having that sit down meeting with somebody. And we're going to practice a few different types of sit down meetings. Prospects, first meeting, prospects follow-up meeting, existing clients for an upsell, we'll talk about whatever type of sales meetings that you guys may have. If you have a sales meeting coming up and you'd like to bounce an idea off of us and have us help you with that, feel free to come with that in mind as well. Thank you everyone for attending. I do appreciate it. If you like this, feel free to go to Patreon and subscribe and help me keep all of this going. I would appreciate that. And you all have a great day.